Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We have finished Impy Barbicane's route and got all of his extras and everything all read out, so those are all in my playlist if you'd like to go back and take a look at any of Impy's videos. Now, I am going to do Van Helsing because I can't wait anymore. I have to do it. I mean, after so many episodes with Impy, and I loved Impy, I really do, but I have just got to do Van Helsing because I was in love with him before I even got the game. So, and I have to apologize for picking him now because I did promise somebody I would do Frankenstein, and I'll do him after Van Helsing, I promise. I'm so sorry that I'm delaying that, but I will be doing all the guys. I'm also finding it hard to put off Saint Germain because I really want to play him too. It's a kind of a toss-up. It's kind of hard for me to choose between Van Helsing and Saint Germain, but I think Van Helsing is taking the top spot for me as a tsundere. But I don't know, the whole quiet assassin thing is a pretty good sell for me too. So, but yeah, I'll have to put him off until after Victor Frankenstein because somebody asked me to. And again, I'm so sorry that I'm putting him off, but I swear I'll get to him right after this. So since I already played the game through once, what I'm going to be doing is, most visual novels come with this function that it'll fast forward through everything until you come to text that you have not read before. So that's what I'll be doing, is fast forwarding through everything that I have already read and only stopping to read the text that has not been read before. So any choices that I make that result in different events, I'll go ahead and read those along my route. But other than that, I'm just going to be skipping through everything. So if you haven't watched any of these videos yet, you should go back and watch the original line of the videos with Impy up until, you know what, not sure what number it is where the paths diverge, but it will be at chapter 8 in the game. So, I'll look this up, and right on your screen right now, I will put text up that will say which episode that that is the main storyline up until. It'll be episodes 1 to something will be the main story. And then, this game, our route with, Van Helsing, will pick up where that last video that I'm listing right now on the screen, episode right here, will take place after that last video. Now, let's go ahead and chase after Van Helsing. Love me, you sexy tsundere. Okay, so here is our first divergence in the story with this choice, and me saying I want to go with Victor instead of I'll accompany Impy. Victor, can I come with you? Sure, but don't you think you'd be safer with Lupin? He seems a bit preoccupied. I feel like I'd get in his way. It's been a while since I allowed myself to go all out. It's time they saw just how lucky I can be. Who is he trying to show off to? I see what you mean. If Lupin's going to make himself unavailable, shall I escort you, my lady? Thank you, Victor. What? Why didn't you think about me? Why do you go straight from Lupin to Victor? I'm here too, don't forget me. Aw, Impy, I'm sorry, I'll miss you. Victor chuckles at Impy's whining. We tell Impy and Lupin that we will meet them at the entrance later, and start walking around the casino together. Well, this is a predicament. I'm not very comfortable in fancy places. I think I know what you mean. Everything is so glamorous, and I feel a bit out of my element. Oh, I saw some food stands back there. Why don't we get something to eat and take it easy for a while? That sounds nice. I'm starting to feel like I might get along very well with Victor. We head towards the food stands. Is there anything you'd like to have? I don't think I'm all that hungry, but the delicious smells coming from each vendor are attracting my attention. If you can't decide, how about this one? Victor approaches a food stand and comes back carrying a strange-looking food. He is holding a wooden stick in each hand, with a white fuzzy cloud on the end. What's this, Victor? This is a snack they call fairy floss. It was created in the recent wave of technological innovation. It was invented by a mechanical engineer and alchemist, Scott Macaulay, 3 years ago. He hands me one of the sticks. A sweet scent wafts from it. Sugar becomes liquid when heated, and when spun radially in a centrifuge, it cools in the air, forming a string. I half-heartedly listen to Victor while I stare intently at the white fluff. Oops, sorry about that. You probably want to try it first. Go ahead. What's the matter? Does it hurt? It's good. Oh, phew. You had me worried there. I eat the whole thing far faster than I would have thought possible. It's so sweet. And white. So good. It's like magic. I'd like to eat more, but the other stick is Victor's. If you like it so much, do you want mine too? No, I'm alright. Even while I'm saying this, I can't help but turn my eyes to Victor's fairy floss. Well, let's do this then. Victor tears a wad of fluff off and puts it in his mouth, then hands the stick to me. I enjoy sweet things, but this is just a little too much for me. I'd appreciate it if you'd take the rest. In that case, I'll have it. Thank you, Victor. You're welcome. Victor smiles, making him look even kinder than he already does. I'm suddenly embarrassed to look at him directly, so I thank him again and decide to focus on my newly acquired fairy floss. A little bit later, we all meet up again. Lupin was a big winner and was told not to come back by the people running the casino. Okay, let's see if... Yeah, this is all the same. Okay, now is our next choice. I think this was where I have to... Yeah. What should I do? I feel like it would be best for Lupin to focus on gathering information. Yeah, so I'm asking somebody to train me. Last time I asked Impy. This time I'm going to ask Van Helsing. Mr. Van Helsing, would you teach me? Me? Yes, I'd like to ask for your help. I'm not one to talk, but your first choice is the man who pointed a gun at you yesterday. You're definitely strange. It can't be helped. Every person under this roof is strange. So true. I saw your strength firsthand yesterday. If I need to learn how to protect myself, I'd like to start with lessons from you. Van Helsing nods in reply. Fine, I'll do it. I'll teach you some basic necessities of fighting. Hey, don't go too hard on her, alright? She's a delicate lady. That won't be a problem. I was once a member of the British Order of Knights. I know how to handle both ladies and thugs. Don't worry, Cardia. I can't help but feel a subtle malicious intent in how he looks at me. Van Helsing's more of the assassin type than the teacher type. Will you be alright? Do you need any bandages before you go? Planning ahead. Quiet. Stay out of this. I said it would be alright. But the expression you made while saying it was quite terrifying. His silent glare is even more fearsome. That's actually his happy face. I start walking after Van Helsing, and we arrive at a riverbank near the mansion. The breeze from the Thames feels good. We're wasting time. There's no room for standing around in a daze. Yes, Master Van Helsing. Master? The one learning is the student, and the one teaching is the master, right? Master. Not bad. Never mind. If you're ready, let's hurry up and get started. Alright. First, I'm going to teach you about fighting. The best advice I can give you is, don't fight. That sounds like a contradiction. It's a far better strategy for an amateur than trying to depend on newly acquired defense skills. Don't hesitate, run. You're starting to sound like Lupin. Don't compare me to that cut purse. There is no other way. It truly is an effective strategy to protect yourself. With that in mind, I'm going to teach you some fighting techniques. Are we using guns and swords? I am not very comfortable with those things. No, I'm only teaching you unarmed combat. Amateurs let down their guard when they hold a weapon, thinking it makes them stronger. I see. And about the poison within your body, I heard that there's nothing it cannot melt. Is this true? That's what Victor says. Then save it as a last resort. It may be a surprise attack as an in extremis use. Tiramisu? An Italian dessert. It uses sponge cake with coffee, mascarpone cheese, egg yolk, sugar, and a dusting of cocoa on top. I have attempted to make it, but I've never quite succeeded. No, I said in extremis, meaning in dire straits. Understand? Yes, I understand that you obviously like to cook. Oh god, she doesn't understand at all. Anyhow, save that poison as a last-ditch effort. I'm going to teach you some self-defense techniques, useful to amateurs. Alright. First, don't punch. There's a chance you might break your fingers. Don't try fancy swinging kicks either, as you may fall. What should I do then? Whether punching or kicking, it takes years of training for your body to instantly make the right moves in an actual battle. It's not the sort of thing that can be taught in a few days. I'm going to teach you some methods that don't rely on skill. No skill? Yes. Get your opponent off guard and throw your body against them, leading with your shoulder. Throw myself. Once your opponent is knocked off balance, you simply run, see? That doesn't sound too hard, does it? I think I can do that. Good. Let's give it a quick try. I'll catch you. Come at me with all your strength. All right. I brace myself, then charge forward, leading with my shoulder. Or at least I try. Van Helsing steps aside, and I fall. You said you would catch me. I'm sorry. I was a bit surprised. What about that surprised you? I pull... That was terrible! What the hell? You just was surprised by her beauty or something and got distracted and dodged? What the hell? I pull myself... I'm sorry. I pull myself up. You're very fast. An impact like that would cause tremendous bodily harm. Isn't that normal? Yes, in a skilled practitioner, it seems you have potential. After the body blow, next I will teach you how to hit. I'll do my best. Before we officially begin training, let me ask you something. What do you think is the most necessary when fighting unarmed? Let's see. What is most necessary? I guess it would be insight, right? Yeah, definitely be insight. Is it insight to see when the opponent isn't paying attention? That's right. You're quite perceptive. I wasn't expecting him to praise me. No matter how strong the enemy is, if you can hit them when they're not expecting it, you'll have the upper hand. Attack first. Yes, Master Van Helsing. If you're going to call me that, I'm going to be very strict in training you. Don't even think of trying to run away. I'll be alright. Yeah, he's definitely a tsundere. Listen to that. I'm not going to let you run away. Van Helsing and I worked on teaching me combat skills until the sun goes down. He says that I have a talent for it, and even teaches me some basic kicks when he was only going to teach me a shoulder charge. I feel stronger. Don't be stupid. That's just your body reacting to the workout. At this rate, I'll become stronger than you at some point. And now you're just being delusional. I think I might pursue a career in martial arts. You've completely lost your way in life. What about searching for your father? Van Helsing sighs and begins walking. Are we done for today? Yes, the rules are that we are to return back to the mansion at sundown. As I follow Van Helsing, I begin to realize something. Hey, Mr. Van Helsing, why are you walking slower than when we headed out earlier?
I figured you were tired. What? Don't just stare at me in silence.
I'm just surprised. When I first saw you, I thought you were a scary person.
Huh. I said before I know how to act around a lady.
That's right, but you don't have to worry about me. I'm not tired at all. We can keep going.
After all that training, unbelievable.
Van Helsing picks up his pace a little, and I continue to follow him. He still doesn't say much, but I feel as if the distance between us has closed a bit. A few days later... Okay, yeah, it's all the same here, so skipping again. Okay, so now I ask Van Helsing once again. We get 2 training sessions from the master. I'm gonna save, because I don't want to go too far without saving at certain points. I want Van Helsing to teach me.
Me? Fine. I was about to wrap up my lesson with you anyway, even if Lupin hadn't said anything.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Cardia, you look like you really want to fight. It's fine to be enthusiastic about it, but make sure you don't hurt yourself.
I can't do that, Victor. I'm trying to learn how to fight. Getting hurt is part of that training. Experiencing pain is part of that, isn't it, Van Helsing?
Exactly. Van Helsing, what kind of training are you giving her anyway? Training that will enable her to easily overcome an assailant from Twilight if they're alone. Why, are you complaining? My, just don't overdo it. It won't be a problem. I don't recall giving her any serious injuries.
I take that to mean you've been giving her a lot of minor injuries? I'm fine. I need to do this, and I heal quickly in any case. Everyone else at the table looks at each other, and no further objections are raised. I'm ready to learn, Van Helsing.
I have no intention of making this easy for you. Don't fall behind.
Right. After breakfast, Van Helsing and I arrive at the riverbed. He and I usually come here for my self-defense lessons. What are you going to teach me today? Punching? More throwing?
No, today's instruction will be more of a comprehensive technique. We will train you to deal with an armed opponent.
We've done that a few times already. Is this a review?
No, you'll be applying your practical knowledge in an actual battle.
What? I'm going to fight you.
Yes, the rock salt shells pack quite a punch. Be aware that if I hit you once, it will be considered a loss.
But... He shoots at me, not giving me time to talk. Thanks to my training, I was already moving as the gun came up, and somehow avoided the spray of salt.
Good work. That one shot would have been the end of you not too long ago.
Van Helsing is serious. I know the effect of those shots from a previous battle. It can knock a grown man out in one hit, or even break his bones. That's how Lupin explained it to me. Van Helsing, wait.
I said this would be an actual battle. If you want me to stop, you'll have to make me with your own hands.
I barely managed to dodge another shot. In reality, I'm not dodging bullets, but I'm observing the direction the gun is pointing and shifting my position away. A single hit would be enough to seriously injure me. I can't help but tense up. I have a few options in this fight. I can raise my hands pretending to give up. I can move around constantly, or hide behind some sort of cover. Or I can fight back. Yeah! I step close to him, as he taught me, and thrust out my palm, aiming for his jaw. The human jaw is one of the body's weak points. It can't be trained through use, and even a weak hit can achieve great damage. However, his gun intercepts my strike. God, I love that face of his. Followed by a blow to my forehead, which sets sparks off behind my eyelids. I lose my balance and take a step back. I take a small breath, waiting for the pain and shock to pass. This is an actual battle. Enemies won't hold back in a real battle. That's why Van Helsing is attacking me in earnest and not going easy on me. I need to be appreciative of this.
And what will your next move be?
A small wisp of smoke is rising from Van Helsing's gun, where it touched my skin. He doesn't seem to mind, though, and points the gun at me again.
It was a good tactic to move into close quarters, but never let that lull you into a complacency. You're still in danger. Glaring at them won't defeat anyone. At this distance, you don't have a chance.
That's not true. I jump to the side and throw a clod of dirt I had picked up at his face.
Some trickery taught to you by Lupin, isn't it?
Van Helsing is momentarily taken aback. I don't give him a chance to recover. I pick up a rock and move in close again, ready to throw it. But by the time I have raised the rock, the muzzle of the gun is pointed between my eyes.
Check and mate, it would seem.
See. I raise my hands and surrender. That's what the guide is telling me to do. If it wasn't for the guide, I would have tried to take the gun, but alright, we'll surrender. I surrender. I slowly raise my hands. Van Helsing smiles faintly.
Good, you pass.
Huh?
It's important to know when you're defeated and when to stop resisting. Sometimes the way you lose is of great importance. If you continue to resist and lose your life when at a complete disadvantage, you are dying in vain. You were able to determine the correct moment to give in. Sound judgment.
It's strange to be praised for losing, but it feels good.
Don't forget that feeling.
He rarely praises me right to my face like this. It's sort of embarrassing, but I feel slightly happy nonetheless. Right. Van Helsing tells me to take a short break, then looks back at me.
I wanted you to experience true tension, so I didn't tell you, but the cartridges I used for this battle used less gunpowder than usual. You'll feel some impact, but that's about it. It couldn't possibly hurt you.
You were looking out for me.
Don't be stupid. Nobody's getting a major injury under my supervision. It's not personal at all, that's it.
Thank you for being so considerate while you're training me. I feel like I've become stronger thanks to you.
You're a quick learner, but don't give yourself too much credit. The best move back there would have been to run.
I understand. Let's continue.
You don't need to rest.
I don't want to rest until I hear you say you give up.
Oh, those are big words. You're never going to rest then.
As he says this, he readies his guns.
Let's see your best. I want to know what you've learned from my training.
You asked for it. I take a step towards Van Helsing. More of the same. And for this decision, I have to board the train, so here's a bit more new stuff. I'm getting on the train.
Right. Look out for her, Victor. Tell Van Helsing to do the same. I guess it's dangerous no matter where she goes. I'll do everything I can to protect her.
Victor nods and Lupin's group leaves. Van Helsing joins me and Victor on the platform.
I see you decided to come with us. I guarantee that you'll be safe. Just don't get in our way.
Don't worry, I can defend myself.
Hopefully it's not all talk.
Shall we board then?
We still have much to do.
I follow Victor and Van Helsing. I look up at the massive machine one last time before boarding the train car. It almost feels like I'm being devoured. I shake my head to dispel the awful image and step aboard. We board the last car on the train. Once our plan begins, our objective will be to lure the guards to this car and disconnect it, guards and all. There are already a few passengers on board, and I hear chattering all around me. This is what it's like inside. It's so strange that so many people can travel all together. I feel a little restless.
I know how you feel. I felt somewhat the same way the first time I rode it. You'll get used to it soon. It's more important that you be on your guard. We're in a life or death situation now. I know. We've got to make this happen.
I wonder if it all goes as planned.
It will. We're going to make sure it does.
The whistle blows again, and the scenery outside the window begins to move slowly. The train is finally moving. The regular series of vibrations shakes my body. This sensation makes me more nervous. We leave the station and pass through the city. It suddenly becomes dark outside. The moon shines over a bare field of grass. At first, Van Helsing and Victor go over the plan again and again, but eventually they fall silent. They're probably lost in their thoughts. Will I soon be faced with answers to some of my mysteries? My poison, and people who have information about my family. The train eventually comes to a stop, and the passengers exit one after another. Finally, our kidnapping mission has begun.
A lot of dots here. A lot of ellipses.
A while after that, we conceal ourselves behind the seats of the now quiet train car and wait for the train to depart. We had departed with the other passengers. Once the conductor's inspection of the train finished, we snuck back aboard. We sit still, waiting for the right moment. Then, the train begins to move again.
Now, this train is turned into a prison on wheels.
Van Helsing says this quietly as he unpacks the weapons he had been hiding.
We're stuck here as well, Van Helsing.
Victor is holding the detonator given to him by Impy tightly.
We have no reason to try to flee. This time we are the hunters. I pray we get through this without being overrun. Cardia, are you ready?
Yes, I'll stay hidden. If something happens to you two, I'll assess the situation and take appropriate action.
Good. Ideally, you won't have to do anything but watch.
Van Helsing looks out the window. There was a windmill on a nearby hill, a landmark Lupin had told us about. The windmill is out of sight. That's our cue to take action. The blades of the windmill are spinning rapidly. The wind must be very strong. Lupin and Impy are supposed to attack the train from the ornithopter. I hope they'll be all right. None of us can hide our nervousness as the moment approaches. Soon, very soon. And then...
Victor, now.
At Van Helsing's command, the bombs set in the car ahead of us go off one after another. The car shakes violently. The light and heat reach as far as our car, even though none of the bombs were set in here. That was a huge explosion. Won't the train break?
It's fine. Those bombs I made have little destructive power, but release a lot of light, smoke, and noise. I hope they will draw out at least a few of the Twilight Soldiers. Huh. If only it was that easy. Twilight is not made up of incompetence. If any of the guards are particularly skilled agents.
We hear footsteps approaching the door to this car. Victor and Van Helsing stand in the middle of the car with their weapons out, and I hide in the rear behind them. Then, countless soldiers appear. They look just like the ones that attacked me in the poor area of London. These men are indeed Twilight agents.
Some of them will obviously have more superior abilities than others.
The soldiers are completely focused and show no hesitation at all. They immediately draw their swords when they see us. However, Van Helsing fires his guns before they can act, taking down some of the guards near the entrance.
But they are no match for us. One thing Twilight doesn't teach its agents is that there's always someone better than you.
It's like a shooting gallery. Van Helsing skillfully wields his shotguns and shoots the soldiers trying to enter the car, one after another. The guards aren't bleeding, however. It seems Van Helsing is using rock salt again, which doesn't cause lasting damage. The windows on one side of the car shatter, and the guards swing in from the roof, trying to flank us. Van Helsing, watch out!
Pitiful. They call this a surprise attack?
In an instant, Van Helsing's gunfire knocks down the soldiers right out of the windows, pushing them out the way they came in.
Twilight's really lowered their standards. This kind of lukewarm assault would not have passed as an attack when I was part of the organization.
Wow.
Maybe he just might be able to handle this single-handedly. I would, if I didn't have any baggage. The real action is about to start. Victor, I need you to cover our backs.
The moment he says this, the windows on the other side shatter, and more Twilight troops start piling in.
No! Stop wasting time whining and shoot them. If you're too slow, you'll die.
Van Helsing continues to fire, taking down soldiers with every shot. Victor glances over to my hiding place, then nods.
I'm not backing down. I can do this. Leave it to me.
Victor throws a glass tube towards a group of soldiers hiding behind the seats. With a dull popping sound, many of the enemy troops fall to the ground.
I don't intend to kill anyone, but I have to stand my ground. That's the spirit. Don't worry about me. Use everything you've got to take them all out.
The battle gets more and more intense. Van Helsing shoots the soldiers entering from the front car, while those in cover fall victim to Victor's glass tubes. Van Helsing himself had taught me that it's very difficult to overwhelm an enemy when fighting in a small space. Even with that in mind, Victor and Van Helsing still seem invincible. Maybe it will really only take the two of them to nullify all the Twilight soldiers guarding this train. But, even as I'm thinking this, the stream of soldiers seems never-ending. I start to wonder where they had all been riding. Victor suddenly stops throwing tubes. His face is twisted with disappointment. I look at his hands, and see that he has run out of tubes. A soldier swings in through the window, and lands right next to Victor. Let's help him out, come out of hiding. Victor! I shout and come out from behind the seat. The Twilight soldier turns towards me, his sword pointed at Victor, but I'm faster. The best way to send the maximum amount of force at an enemy is to use my entire body. I'll throw myself at him. Hurrah! I lead with my shoulder and charge into the man, sending him flying. In a moment of panic, I lose my own balance and tumble to the floor. I try to get up, but another soldier is already standing above me, about to strike with his sword. I'm going to die. The moment I think this, a gunshot fires, and the soldier is thrown aside. Van Helsing, thank you for saving me.
I thought I told you not to get in the way, but your quick thinking is worth notice. Good work.
The two of them handle wave after wave of soldiers, but the enemy attacks get more and more intense. At this rate, Van Helsing and Victor will be overcome, even with their skills. As I think this, Van Helsing looks over at me.
That's enough. It's time to run.
Victor and I nod. Our objective is to lure the soldiers here, then disconnect the rear train cars to cut them off from the Twilight Leader. There are enough soldiers here in this car. All that's left to do is dash through the crowd of enemies and cut this car off. Victor and I run after Van Helsing. The Twilight soldiers standing in our way are shot down over and over by a storm of bullets from Van Helsing's guns. After running through several train cars, we turn back to look at the ones behind us.
Victor, cover me.
Right.
Cardia, you're up. Break the connector. I'll handle any enemies that approach.
Leave it to me. I crouched down and started attaching the device I was given to the connector. The device is fairly complicated to install, but with all the training Impy had given me, I was able to handle it easily. I quickly disengaged the safety. It's done, now. Van Helsing's guns go off nearby. I take out a wrench and screwdriver and quickly secure the device. It's supposed to set off a direct blast that will precisely destroy the connector. It's in place now.
Set it off.
The connector breaks with a muffled explosion. I'm so glad it worked. The soldiers realize what we've done and rush over, but Van Helsing's guns keep them at bay. The final cars gradually fall behind, with many of the guards still on it.
Yes, so far so good. This is no time to celebrate. We're almost at the track switch. Oh, that's right. I'll keep my guard up, don't worry.
But there shouldn't be any more enemies, right? Then... As I say this, several troops appear from the back door, where we had just cut off the train.
What? How are they coming in from there? This is endless. They probably came over the roof, thinking we wouldn't be watching in that direction now.
Van Helsing takes several shots without missing a beat, backing away while keeping the enemies from advancing.
This is strange. There are still so many soldiers left, and we haven't seen Lupin's signal. What's going on with his group? From the looks of this situation, all I know is that it can't be going well. What the hell are those clowns doing? Listen closely, Cardia. Victor and I will take care of these guys. We need you to go 2 cars ahead of us. From there, climb onto the roof. Impy should notice you from up there, and take you somewhere safe for the time being.
What about you and Victor? A tube thrown by Victor explodes against a soldier trying to climb in a window.
I don't have many left, but I can still fight. Don't worry about us. Go. Run as fast as you can.
Van Helsing's words give me an extra push, and I start to run. I run through the car where Victor and Van Helsing are fighting, and into the next. At a glance, there don't appear to be any enemies in here. If I can climb up to the roof of the next car, Impy should see me. I take a breath and tell myself that it'll be all right, when I suddenly hear footsteps approaching from the car ahead. A Twilight soldier enters the car. Maybe there are still a great many soldiers on board, like those we had encountered earlier.
I have been ordered to capture you. That is the first time a Twilight soldier has spoken that I've ever seen in here.
I spin to the side and barely avoid a quick swing of his blade. In the next instant, the man has the tip of his sword at my throat.
Don't bother trying to resist. I was about to say the same thing, idiot. What?
Before the soldier can turn around, Lupin sticks some sort of needle into the man's neck. With that, the soldier slowly collapses.
Nice job with that anesthetic, Victor. It works like a charm.
Lupin.
Hello, Cardia. It would appear that your group has run into some roadblocks as well.
Lupin, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be breaking the connector closer to the head of the train?
We encountered some difficulties. I hadn't accounted for this horrible weather.
The weather.
There's a storm outside. The ornithopter couldn't approach as easily as we'd liked. It took Impy some effort to get me here.
Van Helsing told me to join Impy.
That was a good idea, but it's not possible. It's all Impy can do right now just to keep up with the train.
Then what should I...
It's going to be fine. We just need to tweak the plan a little. Trust me and come with me. That'll be safest.
All right. He looks me in the eyes, then smiles fearlessly.
Right. Let's continue the mission. It's time for round 2. We've strayed from the plan, but we still have to dislodge that connector. We'll keep moving forward and climb onto the roof of the car right before the one the leader is in. Can you move silently?
Of course I can. You made sure I learned how.
Good response.
Let's go, Lupin. I set off running, but Lupin grabs my arm.
Hold on. There's someone behind the seats. Hey, come out now.
Oh, I believe this is all... Oh no, it's... Okay, yeah. This is all stuff that we have seen before. So, skip. Okay, actually, at this point, I'm thinking I might have enough material for one video at this point. It's really hard to tell when you're forwarding through a lot of stuff, but I'm going to make a break in the story here and hope that I have about 30 minutes worth of material to publish. So, I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.